So, sometimes books are just gonna hurt me. Alright, well, it's good to know that. We also have some tools. We can look at the ledger of failure and hatred, which I am interested in doing, but I'm going to check the thoughts if I can. Yeah, okay. Oh, I didn't mean to heal morale. Oh, okay, never mind. Oh, I did again. What did I'm pressing right on the D-pad, not right on the right stick. Okay. Thoughts.
Kingdom of conscience. The kingdom of conscience will be exactly as it is now. Moralists don't really have beliefs. Sometimes they stumble on one, like on a child's toy left on the carpet. The toy must be put away immediately, and the child reprimanded. Centrism isn't change, not even incremental change. It is control over yourself and the world. Exercise it. Look up at the sky, at the dark shapes of the coalition airships hanging there. Ask yourself, is there something sinister in moralism? And then answer, no. God is in his heaven. Everything is normal on earth.
Moralist dialogue options heal +1 morale. Learning cap for volition raised to 5. Learning cap for volition logic raised to 5.
Indirect modes of taxation.
Finding them.
Turns out those Financial Oversight Committee gangsters stuffed millions of hard-earned dividends away in the last place anyone thought to look. The hearts and minds of everyday Revacholians. You need to spread that deregulation gospel to the people. Tell them about that foreign fair tax. Preach that 98% gross burden. Preach it, preacher man. Set the brothers free. Taxes are racist.
Ultra-liberal dialogue options give +1 real, -1 empathy, thinks he's a hustler or something. +1 real for a dialogue option? Really? That seems... well... I guess it depends on the economy in the game. Like, you could just start picking up lots of, again, indirect money just by picking dialogue options, but it already has a consequence of -1 empathy as well. Alright, well, I've got it now. Oh, it skipped actual art degree. Okay. Alright, so, the solution. Trite, contrived, mediocre, milquetoast, amateurish, infantile, cliche and gonorrhea-ridden paean to conformism, I fucked me, affront to humanity, war crime, should literally be tried for war crimes, resolutely shit, lacking in imagination, uninformed, reimagining of, limp-wristed, premature, ill-informed attempt at, talentless fuckfest, recidivistic, shit peddler, pedantic, listless, savagely boring, just one repulsive laugh after another. So, bonuses from the thought, -1 hand-eye coordination, hands shake from anger, how shit it all is, but conceptualization passives heal +1 morale and give 10 XP? That's great. Because I'm already going for conceptualization anyway. Because it's very high. So yeah, I will take that. It's a bit of a shame that it's taking hand-eye coordination down. What is that at now? It's at 3. I suppose that's not too bad. But yeah, +1 morale heals and 10 XP? Definitely. Okay. Alright. Indirect modes of taxation. Ultra-liberal dialogue gives 1 real. But there was a bonus I can do for that. And I think it was to do with this. +1. So does that mean every dialogue option gives me 2 real? Which could add up to be a lot in the long run. I still don't think it's that worth it, because there will be other forms of finding real than this. Depends on empathy, actually. So my empathy is what? 0? Well, I suppose if my empathy is going to be low anyway. Yeah, it's not too bad of a downside, considering it's my weakest area anyway. And then Kingdom of Conscious, yeah, that is just overall good. So, alright. We've got Kingdom of Conscious, which is great. Jamais Vu, which is also great. The Advanced Race Theory, which the thought itself is terrible, but the bonuses are great. -1 logic is not too bad for magnesium-based life form, and I want to have volition high because that gives me more morale. White Morning is pretty good. All learning caps raised to 3. So again, this is still working opposite to the way that I thought it would. Rather. But otherwise, that's okay. Then Mazurvian Socioeconomics. Again, I've not been seeing the dialogue options give me XP, or at least nothing to reward me in terms of a level. But Visual Calculus is high, so I'm compensating for that anyway, so that's 6. And my Authority is low anyway, it's -2, so who cares? Lonesome Long Way Home is also good. And Ace is high. Empathy towards Kim Kitsuragi and Esprit de Corps. So out of these, if I was going to get rid of a skill thought, I think I would probably get rid of regular law official, although I guess now I think about it, some of these are better than I give them credit for. Indirect modes of taxation is probably the one that I would want to do because it seems not good right now. I guess it would actually matter more if I had a whole set that added stuff to indirect modes of taxation. So far, I only have the shoes. Right, well, we got a few things. Let's go ahead and make a save. And I think before I wrap up today's session, I was going to plan for this one to be a shorter one anyway. Whether I decide to go into the trash container to sleep, or whether I just sit on the bench, I'm not sure yet. But I did want to have a look at the ledger. So, this is the same ledger you found in the trash, only worse somehow. It makes you think about the letter, about the woman's handwriting, about not wanting to get out of bed in the morning.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage.
Let's read a case file.
It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Which one do you want?
Let's just go from the top. The Next World Mural.
This one is relatively easy to reconstruct. Overnight on 1202, a graffito, nay, a mural, appears on an 8-story tenement overlooking central Jamrock. The building is a sparsely inhabited ghost tower, part of a failed real estate development called Grand Couronne. Cause of failure, rent too high.
That'll do it.
The mural is enormous. 2 silhouettes, a man and a woman, are kissing. The text cut into their form reads, "True love is possible, only in the next world. For new people, it is too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class."
No, wreak havoc on the upper class, because they deserve it.
People call it that thing and that fucking thing. It's visible for miles. In 2 days, the station's complaints desk gets clogged with requests to remove the bummer. You and your partner are assigned to the case. The graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lectures have the literage of industrial paint to cover the surface. One of the graffito artists is rumored to be rich. They take responsibility for the execution, but not the design. The ideologue of the Next World Mural, as the crew calls it, remains an unknown.
Wait, do I ever find out who came up with it?
The case files do not show you finding the author of the design.
Done.
The crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. This leads to a debate in Precinct 41, which then spreads to the streets of Jamrock, ending in a rare plebiscite organized by you and the rest of Row 3. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villalobos, plus half of the eminent domain, participate in the vote. Although the case begins with what appears to be a lot of rambling on the streets as to how juvenile and stupid the mural is, given a choice between two options.
A. Remove the mural, it is wrong. Keep the mural, it is right. Okay, so I can decide. I can actually shape how the case ended up. So, a graffito appears on a story tenement. It's a ghost tower, so no one's living there anyway. The mural's enormous. It's a man and woman kissing. True love is possible. It's too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class. A lot of people are complaining about it. It's been clogged with requests to remove the bummer. The cruisies are tracked down. They take responsibility for the execution, but not the design. Why would they take responsibility for the execution? They're just being told to do it by someone? The ideologue of the next world mural, as a crew call it, remains an unknown. I don't find out who is the author. So, partners against it. Public support for conservation. Debate leads to the streets. So basically 9,000 people are in the vote. Given a choice, remove it or keep it. The problem is that I don't know how many complaints there are. It says it's get clogged with requests. That could be any number of complaints. But a mural on a building that is not being used, I'd be inclined to say it should stay. Especially if there are people saying that they want to keep it. So, yeah, let's go with keep the mural, it is right.
A staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority. And that love truly is possible in the next world for new people. And it is too late for us.
All that remains is to wreak havoc on the middle class. The middle class are not to be blamed, it's human nature. I like it, but can't we wreak havoc on other nations instead? I must have voted and possibly even lobbied to remove the thing because I don't believe in that rubbish one bit. Well, this, again, not true. Wreaking havoc on upper class, I would have liked as an option. Other nations is like, no, that's not it. The middle class are not to be blamed, it's human nature. Sort of. All that remains is to wreak havoc on the middle class. I guess. Because, you know, they are beneficiaries of a system that is propping them up in some ways. I can't tell whether the dialogue options I have are left-wing, right-wing, ultra-liberal, moralist, etc. But I'm going to say this. Wreak havoc on the middle class.
In any case, it appears to have been a rare case of civil activity in the quarter. And agreement as well. What do you want to tackle next?
Alright, well, we've figured it out. So, I got a skill point. I am 0 of 100. So now I can actually choose to forget. Oh no, I can unlock this. Alright. So, finger gun or Jamrock Shuffle. 2 savoir-faire. My savoir-faire is at 4, so it go down to 2, which is not too bad. And then finger gun, Jamrock Shuffle. Let's go for Jamrock Shuffle. And then if I want to, I can get rid of indirect modes of taxation with finger pistol. That one. Okay, that case file was shorter than I thought it was. Let's revisit this.
Not much has changed in the
Put
meanwhile.
the ledger away. And then other things to interact with. Got a book, map of Martinez, handwritten note from the fridge, and La Fumée. Okay. Let's make a save and then interact with the fridge note. Okay, so fridge note time.
The note is written
Oh,
with
I
a
already
blue
did this.
pencil.
Okay,
Someone
fair
has
enough.
scribbled.
So...
I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it somewhere safe. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream
ice cream maker.
Please take it home
Do this, though.
ASAP. It's important.
So who wrote it?
Perhaps someone who
Slav.
belonged to the defunct radio computer company.
Why did they leave a filament lying in a freezer?
Sounds like a question for a detective.
Okay, same
perhaps
thing.
Someone who
That makes sense.
It would be oh so fun to try that radio computer out for yourself.
So I need to get into the freezer to get the filament out. And then this Kuno.
Are you serious? You sure you don't want to hazard a guess here, detective?
You mean Kuno?
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Alright, put the note away. Okay. Map of matinees.
The worn map featured
Trace
your
path.
finger move.
Yeah, we've already
For
done
a more
this.
detailed view of the map.
Okay. Alright, so I've got 2 more things to interact with, and I think I will interact with them because then I know I've interacted with everything, and unless I get new information, I don't need to interact with anything. So, The Greatest Innocence.
The Greatest Innocence by João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego. The book is large and heavy.
Crack open this immense tome.
Browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, events historical. Most of it ends up as a twisted mass of facts inside your brain. Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. Oh well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a few minutes. You ready?
Sure, why not?
That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first Innocence? Oh yeah, this is what I was made for.
That's so? Alright, go on, give me all the hints you've got. Solar, Dolores Day, the Pericarnassian. You know, I didn't really absorb anything from what I just read. Okay, so there's not actually anything for me to read, so... Alright, give me all the hints you got.
A pop quiz is a short examination designed to test your knowledge without any prior warning or announcement. Such exams allow the teacher to assess how thoroughly the students have retained the material at hand. Voila. Now blast that first Innocence.
Yeah, but what's the answer?
Thanks for nothing.
Cheers. Yes.
Dolores Day. Dolores.
Oh. Well, thank you, Pain Threshold. Dolores Day?
Incorrect. Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy and created modern institutions. Among these, the moral intern, she was powerful and beautiful on all her icons. Her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores, stomach acid rises to the back of your throat, and it hurts. You see a flash silver, a wreath, an airport bag, and blonde hair. You don't know why. Another choice, perhaps? Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one.
I'm kind of curious. What?
A strange sensation of loss. When she left the earth, the dust, and the ice, and the humans. That is unimportant to the quiz. Stop thinking about this.
Okay.
Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first Innocence? It wasn't Dolores Day.
Was it Solar?
Incorrect. Solar was anointed during the previous century and even lived to see the current one. She was an urban planner who spoke her mind and largely left history to its own devices, encouraging people to excel on their own rather than prescribing to a deified model of history. She is often called an anti-innocence. Solar resigned after an assassination attempt by a Yugo nationalist who blamed her for not taking the side of the left during the turn-of-the-century revolutions. Innocences don't usually resign. Care to try again?
Alright. Is it the Pericarnassian?
Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It's said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as a way for measuring people's love for Aurum.
Okay, Pericarnassian is the first
As
innocent.
the first Innocence, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples were the beginning of the Holy Party, the founding party. Question 2. Who was the strongest Innocence?
I'm hoping that completing this book gives me secret white check modifiers for later conversation. Although, to be fair, I've already spoken to Joyce about what is reality, and that seems like the most appropriate person to be talking to stuff like this. Alright, who was the strongest innocent?
Easy. Everybody knows the answer to this. You, me, anybody.
Sure, try again. I trust you've got my back.
An Innocence is the highest category of historical personage in the world, a literal personification of history. Traditionally, an Innocence, when anointed, assumes supreme rule over the Occident or the known world in general, at least the parts that matter.
Yes, so interesting, but I thought you'd give me the answer to the question.
I can do better. Okay, so commonly an Innocence does not enforce his or her power through military power. This is seen as unnecessary. The Innocence wins because an Innocence can't help but win, for their deeds are inevitabilities. Did this help?
No, yes, immensely. So, it kind of helped, because strongest doesn't mean through military power necessarily. Am I trying to convince Encyclopedia that they're helping and therefore giving me good stuff will result in my own personal health and morale standing improving or not? Or do I be upfront? If it didn't say immensely, I'd go with yes. But I think I'm going to go with yes anyway.
Great. Dolores.
Dolores again? Pain threshold? Are you sure? Hang on. Is pain threshold telling me to do Dolores because it wants me to take pain? Dolores Day was incorrect. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Pain threshold is telling me the wrong answer because it leads to Inland Empire causing morale damage. Alright, I'm gonna go Vespa Messina.
Incorrect. Vespa Messina is not a person, but a defunct state on the southeastern coast of the Occident. It used to take up most of the peninsula before separating into the republics of Vespa and Messina. Care to try again?
Okay, Franco Negro?
Correct. Named the Innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the Inter-Isolari Real as the global reserve currency. He also established the concept of the nation.
So the Pericarnassian was the first, the Franco Negro was the strongest.
Franco Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a mission, but at the same time may rise to nobility provided on the strength of his virtue. Question 3. Who was the false Innocence?
This be Dolores?
Got it under control. No problem. Solid on this one. It's widespread historical information.
So Dolores is not an option. Alright, you're going to be helpful this time, I could use a hint.
Yes, there exists a group called the Founding Party, known as the Holy Party, during the time of the Pericarnassian. This, the world's oldest international organization, spends its time in search of either the re-emergence of the Innocents or new members.
See, that would actually have been useful to know for the Pericarnassian question. Sigh heavily out loud.
There seems to be a mix-up with the sources. It's not my fault.
Sure.
At least it clearly wasn't Dolores Day. She wouldn't be false. She's beautiful.
Oh, they gave me Dolores as an option. Alright, let's pick it. Dolores.
No, stop thinking it. I said it wasn't her. She was true.
Alright, is it Erno?
Correct. There have been a number of counter or false innocences. Some assumed to have innocentic qualities. Some who just thought so themselves. Occasionally, they have the support of a faction inside the ecclesiastic organization, and accusations of foul play have arisen. The most famous and important of these was Ernau Pasternak. He was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and world conquest, but got defeated and humiliated by Stepan the Despicable of Kedra.
So Kedra is a place, and Stepan is a person.
Final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who was the greatest Innocence? The most important of them all. The most precious to humankind.
Well, if we're going with what pain threshold thinks, probably Dolores. Let's see what Encyclopedia's got.
I've got it. Honest.
Are you sure this time? I'll bite, hint me.
Of course, this is my thing. The reason I exist in this world. The correct answer is Franco Negro.
You're absolutely certain of this?
0 doubts.
Alright, I think it's Dolores, so I'm going to ignore Encyclopedia.
Correct. The Mesk might see Franco Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest Innocence. A most radical change to the whole fabric of the world.
I was just thinking, Encyclopedia is good for historical knowledge, but I don't know if it keeps up to date with how society is feeling currently.
Everything from inter-esolary travel to the connected world to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow, and more beautiful.
And that's why Pain Threshold was saying she's the first, she's the strongest, not the false, and is indeed the greatest.
Congratulations on finishing the test. The results and your subsequent grade have been calculated. You get
4 marks.
a C, vaguely passable. A solid effort with nothing much else to show. Nice going, mediocrity man. You would have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores Day down a bit.
Thanks, Inland Empire. Damn you, you arrogant book.
You are shouting at an inanimate object, like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers.
Put the book away. Alright. And then last but not least, La Fumée.
The face of King
Oh,
Frieza.
I did read this. Okay.
But only perhaps.
yeah.
So please, you
I
flip
remember
back
this.
to
So international events, blah blah
Whoa.
blah.
It seems,
Bear
according to this
wrestling.
extremely credulous,
2
of
bears
course
wrestling
not.
each other.
The article makes plain that this is man on bear, or in some cases, woman on bear competition. 2 competitors, 1 ring, 5 rounds, or until incapacitation.
Or death.
According to the SRV's Ministry of...
Yep,
This is
remember
the
that.
SRV
It's
we're
hard
talking
to
about.
hard to fight a
you
bear
think-
if you're drunk.
Precisely. For too long, drink has been a scourge to the working class. And President Kaczynski is deeply committed to supplying the people with more wholesome entertainments.
Always good to catch up on foreign
You flip
affairs.
back to the front. It
Kunst
takes
und Kultur.
obvious as you leave.
Uh-huh.
The main feature, though, is a... This
Yes.
so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer.
So, it's Cindy Skull. So she was interviewed for this.
This so-called...
We don't get
you
anything
think
else
instead
about it.
You find where to even start.
Yeah, I
all of
remember
it,
all this.
basically.
Who wrote this stuff?
Oddly, there's no way. Have you ever met anyone more than that? They're likely.
What's wrong with a good motor
anagrams.
crash?
And that precisely is what's problematic.
Oh yeah, I
At the
remember
end
that
of
choice
the
as
day,
well.
It's,
I'm in
you
it for the
see,
violence.
you flip back to the front of...
Okay,
unsur-
local
You skim
concern.
finally.
Then
This must be Gaston's
and
handiwork.
communists. Yep, charging rent to live is outrageous.
The writer G. It's true. You flip back to the front.
Right, okay. So, I have indeed interacted with everything in my inventory, and it is now 2:04. So, I think the last thing I'll do is to go and check the freezer, see if I can break the filament out. And then after that, I think I'll call the stream for today, because I did think it was going to be a shorter session. So, we'll give this a go. Tools, pry bar equipped. Check this.
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner
pry bar's
and
not strong
an
enough.
electric freezer.
Okay. I need something stronger than a pry bar. And I don't think I have something stronger than a pry bar. I have this for tapes. Do I have a tape? Ooh, I did have this. Oh, but it's empty. Right, so I don't actually have a tape. Okay. Alright, well, I guess that will do it for me. Let's unequip the boombox. And yeah, so I'm still undecided about whether I'm going to sleep into the trash container or if I'm just going to sit on the bench and wait for Kitsuragi to come back. I'm kind of curious to see if sleeping will recover all of my morale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a save, and then I will give that a test for next time. See how it goes. But yeah, so that'll do it for today. Thanks for watching the stream, guys. I hope you enjoyed me bumbling my way through my inventory. We did make some progress in terms of the thoughts, and we've got some decent bonuses. Some less decent ones, which I might switch around, but hey-ho. This will go up onto YouTube at some point. I know that I've got quite a big backlog of streams to get through and put up onto YouTube, but it will be there eventually, don't you worry. So that's at youtube.com/RiggyRobPimmsyPlay. We also got Discord, TikTok, Twitter, etc, etc. Twitter is good because that's when we will post tweets to say, hey, we're going live now. And we stream on Twitch at around about 8 p.m. UK time on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. And yeah, so I'm going to carry on playing with Disco Elysium. Fire Emblem Engage is out now, as of me saying this, and that will probably be the next game I want to move on to, but I'm pretty certain I've got a fair bit left of Disco Elysium. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time.